Okay, I just had a great interview with Samya, who came here to the US from India. She's got an incredible work history. She's a certified ICF coach doing amazing work. That's her right there on LinkedIn, and you can find her around this video. But you want to check it out. Check out her episode of Giant TV. It was great. I learned a lot. Love her personality, and she's making a difference. And I think you'll get some takeaways from this. You'll love it. Let's go check it out. Hi, everybody. This is Paul Hitchcock. I'm the founder and president of Giant Jacks Media. We're helping others to grow and nurture their practices. This is my Giant TV media channel where I have incredible people on the channel that are doing great things. And Samya Ahmed is certainly one of them. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking a bit offline, and I'm looking at your LinkedIn profile here. You've got some amazing things going on. First of all, you came over here from India in not too distant past. You've done a lot of great work. Tell us what's going on with, a little bit about your background and what you're doing now.
Yeah, so I'll start a little bit with my background.
Yeah.
I have worked for about 15 years in the corporate sector, in the financial and banking sector. So I was working with Bank of America, HSBC, and places like that, mostly in the risk management and operations management. And of course, that was actually living leadership, right? So I was in different
Yeah.
leadership roles. And at some point in time, there was this nirvana moment where I said, okay, now I want to do something else. I want to give back. And it was a slight pivot in the sense that I got into training and coaching in areas related to leadership, which was a pretty steep learning curve for me because,
Yeah.
I had to go back to school in a way, in the sense that I had to learn a lot about organizational behavior. I teamed up with one of my ex-colleagues from Bankham, and it
Wow.
was all experiential training across different companies.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
on all kinds of topics like change management, emotional intelligence, how to build your team, how to motivate your team, how to get them to perform. So it was really exciting because you're interacting with people, and
Was
then
there a certain target market there you were focused on when you were doing that?
yes, so this was mid to senior level managers
Okay.
who are just they have been in leadership roles but not necessarily getting their teams to perform well.
Yeah.
So that was the target. And that was some great feedback there, a lot of learning.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then I moved into coaching as well, which is one to one, as you know. And again, that was a pivot because getting certified as an ICF coach, and then I also got myself certified by the University of Berkeley. They have a wonderful executive coaching
Oh, yeah.
program.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And so I have been then focusing more on training and coaching, mostly for corporates. And right now, my focus is women because that is something I really relate to. It's a passion. So I'm focusing on leadership for women and how I can support them to grow in their organizations.
Well, I gotta say, I love it. I'm raising three girls and a boy, so all the women stuff, girl stuff, I'm all over that. Big girl dad. So, uh, dear to my heart, dear to my heart. That's great. Yeah, in Berkeley, I'm in the Bay Area, so Berkeley is very prominent around here. Obviously, it's local, but so okay, so I got to ask you then, what are the issues you're dealing with when you're helping people now? Is there a common thread with these women that are in leadership positions? What is it?
So, Paul, there've been so many studies on this topic. I'm sure, many of us have read it. So, for example, when women are applying for a promotion or for a new
Yeah.
job, they will wait until they have all 100% of the stuff out there on the job description versus men. They would apply if they're just 60% there. And there's real research on this. Similarly, women would speak up 75% less if they're the only one in the room. And so there's so much of research that has been done in terms of why women hold themselves back. So when I'm working with women, all these themes come across that I am so competent. I know I can do it. But, there's, there's a but. Why am I
Yeah.
not moving forward in my career? And it's not that they're not ambitious. It's all these things internally. And of course, there is this, how do I deal with the external biases as well? So
Yeah.
these two themes are very strong when I'm working
Hmm.
with women.
So you go in there and I mean, how do the women that you work with, are they trying to move to a different career, or are they moving up in their own business, or is it about communication with employees? I mean, where are they in their careers?
So typically they would be like director level or maybe a level lower trying to move up.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so they've just hit a block and they are at the point where they say, listen, there's something wrong with the way I'm communicating or the way I get myself across. And then, of course, the craft of the coach really is to help them figure out what it is that's causing that,
Oh,
right?
right, right, right.
Is it a belief? Is it an attitude? Is it confidence? So, we have to help them figure that out and understand why it's happening, and then also help them to figure out what works for them. How can they get out of it?
Now
So
that's
typically
interesting.
they're at
So
that stage, yeah.
yeah, yeah, because obviously you got to identify what the issue is to get past
Yeah.
it. But to me, as you were talking there, that can get into the personal side of things too, right? I mean, if they've got these self-limiting beliefs or whatever is holding them up, right? I mean, are people opening up to you about that? Are these women feeling comfortable to get into the personal side, which may be holding them up?
That's a great question. And so as a coach, I really have to build the trust. I mean, as all coaches do, you
Yeah,
have to really spend a lot of time. First few sessions is just building trust so that they can open up. And it's like peeling the onion, right?
yeah,
So it's all always starts with the things on the surface. And as you progress with the coaching, more things come out. And it does take time to reach to the level where you're talking about beliefs and values and identities. It's really the final stage. But yes, I love it when they open up and talk about it and own it. And usually that's the aha moment, right? When they say,
yeah.
okay, because many times they don't know it themselves, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then what do? Lay out a strategy for moving forward, and then are you accountable with them on executing? I mean, is there a playbook that you then get
Oh,
going?
absolutely. Absolutely, Paul. There has to be a strategy because, coaching has to show results. And people have to see changes happening, right? They have to see that they are making a difference in those rooms, in those meetings, in getting promoted, for example. So the strategy really is to help the person make it actionable. And really, that's the difference between believing that I can do it and being confident that I
Yeah,
can, you know, actually being certain that I can do it. Right. So, having the action plan, and of course, all the coaching that I do is action oriented. So they take back actions and they experiment with it in between. So most of the coaching happens in between sessions, and they come back and say, hey, you know what? I tried this worked, this didn't work. And so it has to be, so there's a whole strategy in terms of being accountable, coming up with their own actions, of course, and then following it through.
yeah. So are you meeting with people on a monthly basis or weekly, or how interactive is your?
Bi-weekly, it's because this has to be, see, our attitudes, our beliefs, and behaviors take time to change, as you know. And
Yeah,
unless there is that encouragement, that motivation, that those insights coming in on a regular basis, we are human. We might just slip. We might not focus on it. So 2 weeks is the max, and I would, or earlier. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. How long does an engagement typically last with you? Does it months, years, or what does it look like?
3 to 6 months, 3 to 6 months, and
Okay.
6 months are the ones which result in the best results.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
yeah, I'm sure you've seen that too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I always find that there's strategy and execution.
Yeah.
I mean, just to boil it down to basic strategy, you got the strategy, you can't make somebody execute. So accountability is huge. And if somebody doesn't make the execution just part of their identity and they go do it, and they just move on it, and some almost sort of just, follow the playbook, like, like robotic almost, just do these things. It all falls apart. Would you say
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a fair way to look at it? Strategy and execution. They have to be married and both working.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree.
Yeah. And so, is there a particular niche of a business that you're focused on, or is it any industry? Doesn't matter.
Any industry, Paul, you'll be surprised across industries. It's the same questions that I see leaders coming up with.
Yeah.
And one of the very common themes that I'm seeing recently is on executive presence and influence. And in fact, I'm working with some other colleagues in 2025 to come up with a program on executive presence and influence, which will be a combination of both training and coaching, because this is something that keeps coming all the time.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting observation we've
I
been.
love it. Where are you going, like the next 5 years or so? Where do you see yourself, growing to?
Thank you for asking that question. I see myself growing with other coaches because I believe it's a team and you cannot do it alone. So I already have a couple of colleagues with whom I'm partnering, starting to partner.
Partner in
And
what? In what way do you partner with them? Like co-coaching, or what does the partnership mean?
so the partnership is in terms of, yeah, so it's like training along with them and then dividing our coaches amongst us
Okay.
or a
Okay.
program, right?
Yeah.
So because I'm focusing on corporates, I see myself working with a larger team of coaches and approaching corporates and being able to make a much bigger difference than I do right now
Mhm.
because it's me and a couple of other coaches, but we'd like to grow and make it big.
I love it. I love it. Well, I could really get into this for a long time. I'm very interested in what you're doing, and this has been great. I want to tell everybody listening that wherever you're watching this, because we simulcast this on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, that Samya's information is going to be around this video. Get connected with her. And I highly recommend it. Samya, thank you so much. I know we're going to talk again. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.